This is where there'd be walk-up music.
Yeah.
Kidding.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to talk about customer insights, analytics, and technology. I am Rick
I'm
Hawk.
Kelly.
This is Kelly. So you guys have heard that the general agency technology is coming, and we are here to share more information with you about it. In this session, we'll uncover the best data and technology to help you get more clients and increase your book of business as part of JM Partner Solutions. We are leveraging the power of Jewelers Mutual to put more tools into your hands. We have a lot of material to cover today, so we would appreciate it if you can save your questions until the end of the presentation, when Kelly and I will have time for you to ask questions, or you can see us individually after the session. Additionally, this presentation will be made available to you later. The button's not working.
You hit the wrong one?
Oh, I'm hitting the right one.
There you go.
Wait, that went that way.
Oh, we saw the guys again.
There we go. In today's session, we will share information about feedback that we received from agents, many of you who are in the room today, share our vision for data and technology, talk about our learnings that we've received from and about Jewelers customers, and talk about the GA roadmap for implementation. As you heard from Jamie yesterday, our goal is really to grow the number of customers that we have at Jewelers Mutual and serve them in a better way and give a better understanding of our customers overall. In this way, we can provide the best products and services you need to operate your business most efficiently. In order to do this, we are investing in bringing data about customers together in a way that is consumable and actionable. Having deep understanding and knowledge of jewelers will allow you to better understand your jeweler customers. To support these goals, we are collecting and analyzing data about jewelers, building a data platform to enhance your experience, and investing in dedicated resources like Kelly and myself to increase the commercial experience. The JM Partner Solution efforts focuses really on three areas: customer insights, a front-end web experience, and the policy management lifecycle. In this discussion today, we will focus mostly on the customer insights and the front-end web experience sections. The policy management lifecycle we will not talk about much today, but we'll save that for discussions later in the year. The one thing you will notice is there's three icons up here, the little light bulb and the computer. We'll have those in the upper right-hand corners of future slides so you can see the reference to each of these areas. At the end of last year, we met with several agents and CSRs, many of whom are in the room today, to better understand your needs and improve your business operations. We asked questions like, what do your customers really need? What are your biggest pain points? And what have you seen from other insurance companies that you would love to see from Jewelers Mutual? What we heard from you is that you want a system that reduces data entry time, that provides coverage information, and also increases the quoting speed. When I think about software that makes my life easier, one of my favorites is TurboTax. Before TurboTax, I had to do all my taxes on paper. So I'd have to collect all my forms from all the different companies that I worked with. I would have to enter all the data, then I'd have to read the instructions, I would check for errors, and then I would find that I made errors. So I'd have to start over, read some more instructions, enter data, and then check for errors again. When I was done, I would then mail in the paper forms, and I would wait and wait and wait for my income tax refund check to get to me in the mail. So I had to wait a long time to get the money that was due to me, right? And I think it's the same thing for you. TurboTax walks me through this process, making it a lot easier. It explains complex laws in ways that are easy for me to understand. And it allows me to import data directly into the system so I don't have to do it myself. And so that it's probably correct, right? Most of the time you import it, it's correct. Then it will automatically send the income tax information into the government, and I'll get a check in or directly deposited into my bank account, usually in just a couple days. So I get to see my money much more quickly. Our vision is to make the general agency software as easy for you to use as TurboTax is for me. So in our focus groups, again, one of the things that we heard about was that we wanted to know more about carrier appetite. When I use TurboTax and I first start up the software, the first thing it asks me is, do you own a business? Do you own a house? Have you sold any stocks or cryptocurrency? And based on my answers to those questions, it guides me through the entire process, asking me the questions that are important to me. For quoting speed and carrier appetite, we would like to do the same thing, right? So we can ask a few questions up front that will classify each of the risks and match it to the carriers that will provide that same type of coverage for your customers. This way, you can spend your time just focused on those carriers that will provide coverages for your customers. Oh, too far. Hold on. Application data entry reduction. This is another important focus area from our agent feedback sessions. In TurboTax, prior year tax information, financial data that you might have in another application, 1099s, W-2s can all be imported directly into the system, so you don't have to enter them yourself, and so that the information is accurate. We will provide similar functionality to that inside the general agency system. So during the application entry process, we will streamline and automate the way in which you submit an application. We want you to have the ability to spend less time entering data and more time working with your clients. As you can see from the diagram, entering some information, and it's kind of hard to see, sorry, it's a little small, but if you enter some information like the your client name and the federal tax identification number, which are in black, it can automatically fill the information in green. And the way it would do this is it would take that information that you enter, run it against our databases at Jeweler Mutual, find that same customer, and then bring back information that we know about that customer into the application for you. Once you have that information in the application, then all you need to do is just verify that it's correct or make any changes that need to be made. And then you can submit it to whichever carriers you would like. The one thing that's important to note is that initially, we may not be able to pre-fill a lot of application because we don't have all the information that we'd like to know about Jeweler customers at this time. So it will be somewhat limited, but as we move forward, we will have more information to pre-fill this and make the entire application entry process much simpler. The next thing that we heard from the agent feedback sessions was that you wanted plan and coverage knowledge resource information. In TurboTax, complex tax information is explained to me in a simple to understand manner. We wanted to provide that same type of information in the general agency solution. During the application data entry process, we will provide additional information and definitions to better understand risks and coverage types. We all know that we're on a different journey in our careers. Some of us are novices, some of us are experts. From time to time, we may all need some additional information about coverages or terminology. Using resource guides and pop-up information, a new CSR can be self-guided through the application process. There's an example on the screen. During application data entry, a user may have questions about cyber liability. Hovering over that field on the application will bring up a full description of cyber liability so that someone can look at it and understand the coverage that they're offering. Once all this data is entered for a customer and verified to be accurate, it can be sent to your selected carriers of choice. The new GA system will provide options so you can choose if you would like to quote with more than one carrier at a time via the single application. This will allow you to offer coverage and pricing options to your customers. Providing quote options will allow you to assist your clients in a more streamlined manner and be the agent of choice. As we work with our software vendor partners, we will also develop other ways to view this information in conjunction with information that you need so that you have easy ways to share this type of information with your clients. In the example on the screen, you can see how we could generate 3 different quotes from the single application and put it into a format that's easy to understand. I know these buttons.
Look happy, you guys.
From a policy management perspective, the GA will provide an agent dashboard that will allow you to look and see things like, what do you have to do today? What quotes are outstanding? Are there cancellations that are pending? And are there expirations that are upcoming? Looking at this type of dashboard will allow you to work with people internal to the operations as well as external operations to allow you to see all of your information from one viewpoint. The important thing about this is our vision is really to make sure that this is customizable so that it can meet your needs and the needs of your business. With that, I will pass this over to Kelly, and she will talk about our goal to better understand our jeweler customers.
So it is on the right-hand side?
Yeah, it's on the
Okay.
right side, but it's got to do it on the low part.
All right. I'm Kelly McCartney, as many of you already know. Part of my job, we talked about technology, but also really understanding and deepening our understanding of the jeweler customer. Expanding our reach. How do we expand our reach? How do we understand the depth of the customer? I think from a commercial line side, you probably all understand the insurance aspect of your customers, working with them for many years. But as you know, over the last 7 years, we have grown. I've been here 15 and we have grown. And I think you heard that message from Scott and Jamie and others yesterday as well. So as we've built new products and services to really meet your customer needs, now we want to start pulling in that data to truly understand the value of that customer. Have any of you ever worked with one of your favorite vendors and you were treated like they met you for the first time, but you've been there for many, many years, right? You want them to see you as that whole person. We want you to be able to see your jeweler as that entire person as well. I'll give you an example. I'm a huge Amazon shopper. I don't know about you guys, but I like to simplify my life. I'm busy and I want to, it's easy. It's easy to do business with them. But it's also, I want them to recognize not only do I shop on Amazon every single day, multiple times a day. I know I'm guilty. I'm probably their favorite person. I don't know. But I also use Alexa. I use their Photoshop. I use all those different services. So when I work with them, or if I decide to, keep a package a little too long past the, expiration date, they recognize me as a valued customer. So I get a phone call right away and they help me. And thank you for being a valued customer. Yep, return that, not a problem. Or keep it, they say sometimes. They don't even want it back. That's even more awesome. So we want to, our goal really is to equip you with those additional insights to give you the capabilities to really see your jeweler customer across all these different verticals as we grow together. I think that would be pretty amazing for you. I'm going to say JM Group a lot throughout the session. I really just want to define that so everyone understands what I mean when I say a JM Group. JM Group is considered Jewelers Mutual Insurance Company. So all of you that do business with Jewelers Mutual Insurance Company, our own agencies, so Lunar, Wexler, and JMIS. So all together, collectively, when I say JM Group, that's what I'm referring to from a commercial perspective, okay, commercial insurance perspective. Kind of hard to flip your slides when you're at this. Thank you. Want to hold that? Thank you.
You want me to do
Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
slide?
Maybe I shouldn't have had you do it. All right. Making me look silly here. I'm just kidding. Okay. All right. Who has interacted, played with Legos, stepped on Legos, grandkids, kids? Some of you all probably played with Legos at some point in your life, right? Okay. Who has put Legos together without a kit? You know, the kit that says, here's your kit one, you put this together, you know how it's sequential, you get it, how to do it. How about when you just get a big pile after your kids buy hundreds of dollars worth of Legos and they put them all in a pile? Have you ever tried to make something with that? It's a little overwhelming, right? So then your OCD kicks in and you're like, oh, if I put the reds here, I put the greens here, or different shapes and colors, it allows you to have some clarity, right? It brings some level of, you know, less anxiety per se. It allows you to envision what's the possibility of what you could be building. So when you have a kit, you kind of know your end state. Well, we're not a kit at Jewelers Mutual. We don't necessarily know our end state. We're going to need your help. But we have a lot of visions, a lot of ideas, a lot of creativity being thought of. But again, it's a partnership between all of us to help build this together. But the Lego analogy really helps because, you know, you're collecting data. We have tons of data from all different verticals of products and services we offer you today. And we need to do a better job of sharing that and how do you sell that. We've all talked about that over the last few days. You know, and there's preparation. It's, you know, putting them in columns and rows so we can understand them, visualizing the data so we can see, ooh, I see a trend here. You know, there's different ways, but each time we spin up a new vertical of products or services, we kind of go through this process of the Lego analogy. So think about, you know, commercial lines. When you're working with your underwriter instantly understands that commercial lines client. They do business with commercial lines. Well, that client probably also does business with Tina and her shipping solution. You may not, as an underwriter, may not know that without calling over there and asking questions. But what we're trying to do, and I can share that with you today, is bringing that together to understand the value of that jeweler customer across all the verticals. So you want to know, is your jeweler customer part of care plan? How much shipping are they doing, right? Are they signed up for appraisal solution? And that kind of fits really nicely with Mark just said about you know, your president's trip. We can help you today, you know, reach out to your ASM for sure. We can help you kind of bring that story together to really reach the goals that you're looking for. All right, so we've been busy. We may not know the world yet, you know, the universe of jewelers. So let me clarify what you're seeing on the screen here. On the blue, the 11,740, that's JM Group. Remember, I defined JM Group. That's customers that work within Jewelers or JM Group, Lunar, Wexler, JMIS, and all of you from JMIC coming together. And it could be working with other carrier partners in some instances, as long as we understand that relationship. Oh, can't do that. This means only commercial insurance though, okay? That's 11,740 customers. On your right-hand side, yes, your right-hand side, 37-ish. I mean, it's growing, and we're trying to deepen our understanding of it. We call them suspects for a reason. We don't know everything about them yet. Our goal is to know everything about them as much as we possibly can through history of data that we've collected in the past, data sources that are public knowledge that we can, you know, purchase to bring in to tell that story better of those interactions of prospects, but even our own customers understanding those deeper connections. We need to do more, you know, additional research. I actually just hired someone starting on the 18th. That's all they're going to do is focus on deepening their understanding of the jeweler customer. When we learn more, we'll share more with you. It's pretty exciting. But wouldn't it be nice, like going back to what Rick mentioned, is, you know, I don't have to ask all these questions anymore. If I can, you know, if you guys can rely on us to be able to insert that information, be more responsive into your quoting process, into your just overall 360 view of your customer, wouldn't that be helpful? Would that save time? Nod heads? Yeah, I know it's 8:15. Yeah? Okay, all right. All right, thank you. I mean, who loves cold calling? I used to work at State Farm. You do? You like cold calling? Oh my goodness. I don't, yeah, that's not for me. But if I had a connection, if I knew something, even like I saw them at the grocery store, or whatever, those calls are just a little bit more warm, aren't they? Just one little leg in of something, you know? With the data that we're able to provide you, it gives you, maybe they're not in a commercial insurance partner of ours, but maybe they're signed up for the appraisal solution, or Gem and Jewel, or care plan, or shipping. You know, you can lead in with something, or maybe you know more about them of data attributes that we're trying to pull together for you. Maybe you know, well, you know where they live, you know their name, maybe a phone number, something that we're going to give you that you can, at least start kind of having a better understanding before you even reach out to them. I wasn't ready. I didn't give you the cue. That's okay. I just had to give him crap. That's fun. In the past, I think we've given you JBT leads, and yes, while those have been beneficial over the years, I think we can do better, right? I think we can do better understanding our jeweler customer, the types, the different segments, the sizes. What's the next best offer to your customer? Through data and analytics and really studying and understanding and using different models, we can help at least guide you on what's maybe next best for that customer. Not every customer, I heard David McDonald say it yesterday, all your programs are slightly different. It just really depends on that customer need. Well, we can help guide you and your team members through that process. Okay, now I'm ready. Here's just a sampling. For protection of your all book, I put some white lines in here so you can't actually see information. But here's a sampling of something internally. I'd call it more of a prototype, but we're using it internally to help make better decisions. And I really strongly recommend after this discussion, reach out to your ASM, start partnering with them, partner with not that you're not, but in a different way, work with them. They're going to help guide you and help you throughout this process, but work with your underwriters. And I'm not going to mention names, but there's an agent in the room that we actually just recently helped work an account that this person was going to lose or thought they were going to lose. And the ASM partnered with that person along with an internal team from shipping solution, care plan, the underwriter, partnered together to see that customer holistically across all of our interactions, which really enabled that agent to go back and really show the value of those interactions, the value that it brings to Jewelers Mutual. So one of the efforts that we're working on right now is the data that you see on the screen. It gives the underwriter, it gives the sales team, it gives the claims examiners something to talk about, something to reference. So if there's maybe a denial of a claim or competition on an account or just basic underwriting, they will look into this 360 view of your customers and see all those interactions that were not available previously without a lot of work to be able to get to that. Before we actually started enabling all of this, it took me a good 3+ hours just to get basic information about a customer. That's not effective. But here on the screen, just giving you some quick insights. It's showing that this customer is a JMSS participant, the number of packages they ship, from last year to this year. It shows agent compensation for program participants, claims activity, PL engagement, which you're not seeing here, but how your jewelers actually help our personal lines customers. That's now going to be available to see. Are they participating in any programs? And more to come. I mean, the sky's the limit. As we start building this out, we will have better insights about our customers. But it does help you, I think, all today. I may not be able to send this out and securely yet to say, hey, go start doing self-service and looking at this, but we can internally, utilize us, to help you on individual accounts. Not yet. Who's excited? All right. Woo, I'm excited. All right. So while this is a prototype, what we will be doing as we build out that technology interface for you, we want to be able for you yourself to see your customers in all those interactions. So be patient with us. This is a journey, definitely a journey, but I think you can see some wins currently today, and every step of the way, it's going to be something of value for you. Okay. Speaking of value, immediate value. So we have this protection. Over the last few years, we've protected accounts within agencies. That's maintaining, continuing. But in order for you to really understand, is that customer protected or are they available? Can I go prospect them? We have a tool now that I can securely share, which we'll start doing a pilot after this the summit with a small group of agents to give us feedback to make sure that they feel it comfortable. There's kind of working out all the bugs. But a way that you can easily look at and say, is an account protected or not? So I'm not wasting my time calling my ASM for something that I can already do myself, or if I'm not waiting to submit an application, you have it at your fingertips. While you're maybe driving by a jeweler, I want to check real quick. It's just a nice way for you to, in the moment, check. And this information is updated every single day. So it's like 1 day lag. So it's as most current as we can get in the moment. That's pretty darn good. Who's now excited about that? All right, so if you are super duper excited about it, talk to your ASM, and then they will bring a select pilot group together. We'll kick this off in the next week or so, okay? And then the rest of the remaining agents will get this in May. All right. Now to, I know Michael Malamine had a lot of questions yesterday about timing. Where is he at? I don't see him this morning. Okay. See, now he's tardy. Yeah, I called him out. Okay. Anyway, I know we're all excited. He said, it's been 11 years we've been talking about this. Well, it has been a journey for sure. But I've been invested in this for 2 years now, living and breathing, understanding what's out there in the market. Rick and I have looked at probably 70 plus different MGA or general agency tool selections. We looked at our own internal tools that we have to see will it meet the needs. But one thing that is very, very clear, which, from a carrier side, a lot of times we've looked at what the systems internally look like. Jeff Baker standing right back there, he has challenged us every single day. And we need to look at it from an agency lens. Look at it from how easy is it going to be for you all to work with these systems, not from a carrier side. Of course, we want it to be effective internally, but the experience needs to be there. That's our driver. And again, so when we really kick this off, right now we're in the technology solutions section. I will say we're down from 6 to 2. We've narrowed down the vendors. We're starting negotiations and hoping in the next month or so we'll have some decision making on it so we can move forward by end of year. Once we decide our vendor, once we have that initial kickoff meeting, we will be asking, again, work with your ASMs on a small group to be SMEs, subject matter experts on how the look and the feel and the experience, and is it going to do the upload, download Mark DeFore? It will, that you're looking for. We're going to make that as simple as possible to meet your business needs and also your customers as well. So our plan is building that out, starting to have something tangible for you in early 2023. As you see on the timeline here, we have John Fierce talked about JB Select yesterday. We have a pawnbroker program. Those are a little manual right now, and we want to create efficiencies and create some automation there. And then we'll work with other carrier partners, including ourselves, on streamlining that process. All right. I feel like we don't even hit the 10-minute time. Holy smokes, you guys better have a lot of questions. So what does great look like now, today? We can all say, well, it's not going to be great until I have all the bells and whistles. We all know reality. When that comes, you're going to say that, well, I need something else, right? We're all human beings. But we always also have to reflect on and just take time to say, what does great look like today? It may not be perfect, right? But there's things I just talked about today that are very, very tangible that I think that you could all take advantage of and start utilizing. And we can work differently in a partnership across, agent and JM group as well. So some of the things here, you all know you're the best in the room, right? I mean, you have experience in jeweler's block, and particularly a lot of you have experience in the pawnbroker program. I'm hoping that you saw just a little glimpse of there is opportunity out there, and we're going to work together to figure out what does that all look like. But that's a partnership together, a journey together. Some things are, at arm's length. Some things are tangible today, like the clearance tool. I know it's not huge, but that is a time savings. I think Jacob, you asked that question the other day, so I think that is something that I think will be very useful. It's an exciting journey too. Nothing's going to be perfect, but we just ask for your partnership, and we work together on this and communicate. And we're definitely committed to adding value along the way and making good progress. And Rick and I, like I said, we're devoted to this work. So again, I encourage you to work with your ASM, your underwriter, to provide that meaningful value. It may be one account at a time, but they're willing to put the effort in, as long as you are as well. Any questions? I mean, I think this was a lot of really good information. How much time do we have left? Uh-oh.
What questions do you guys have? I got the mic right here. I'll bring it over.
Risa does.
Here you go.
So thank you. Good presentation. My question is, I know that, that at the end, it's going to be the agents that can access the portal. Is there a timeline where the customer can also access the same data?
So the tools that are the vendors that we're looking at, they do have the capability, either we would build or the one does have the capability to extend a portal that on your behalf. So Teresa, if you wanted to, I don't know when we'll enable that, I can't commit to that, but there's capability of doing that. So an extension of the agency, allowing them to maybe print off their certificates of insurance, see their bills, make payments, see some documents. It will all depend on what we want to extend to that customer, but the capability is there. Mike?
Yeah, at this point, we haven't really worked out how that's going to work with other carriers. What we do plan to do is to connect up to their system so that we can send quote information to them, have them price it, and then return the information to us so we can present it. But as far as locking that quote, we really haven't had those discussions yet where we can comment on that.
Gary, hang on. Gary, hang on for a second.
Go ahead.
Okay, so if as a GA, we're going ahead and quoting this business through a carrier partner and they have it in their system for us and have provided a quote for us, they will not go ahead and offer terms to somebody else without a BOR.
Yeah, that's similar to what we do today within Jewelers Mutual. I think that there's a clearance process in every carrier partner today.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning.
Good questions.
I have a question.
Who's got the next one? Oh, you got it.
So right now, when we go on to, we've got the JM portal, you've got agents helping agents, you've got Zing. Do you have a plan to coordinate and consolidate all of these portal entries
Yes.
to make entry easier and everything a little bit more seamless?
We don't have all the details on it, but I can tell you that we will streamline that to put more of a one-stop shop place. I definitely see Zing playing a very important role within this process. But I like the agent portal, all that we're trying to think about it and kind of roll it up together. So you're not going to, 6 different places to get information. It can be very confusing. It's a lot for us too to keep updated. So we will be streamlining that process.
Yeah, our goal is to have just a single place where an agent can go to see all of their information.
Does that make sense, Teresa?
I look for it right now. In order to find out where somebody is billing, you need to go to documents, and that is time consuming and confusing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll add to this that this came up, or it's come up a couple times during the breakout sessions too, specifically with jeweler programs, for instance. I think Stark was one of the ones that said he actually goes into some of his jewelers with a care plan document that has the breakdown in terms of reimbursement amounts, and it's 2 years old. So he's like, is there a place where I can go and get information that is up to date, that's current? And I think one of the challenges we have is, to your point, Risa, bring some of this information together where you can access it. Zing is a place that we can put some of this information and make it kind of a one-stop shop, or link it into another system or the new system. So that's the goal. We want you to be able to come to one place, and then through API connections, we can connect all that to the necessary information that you need. So that's our goal.
Yeah, and the insights that I just mentioned as well, that would be included in that one-stop shop to see that 360 view of your customer, more real time, not having outdated information, so you can have really meaningful discussions with your customers. What other questions?
You will. Is the idea here that the
agents, the interface that we're going to see, is that going to take over for the existing agent connection when we log in and it shows our dashboard of sales to the year? And
So that's like a CRM, I mean, capability, right? What you're referencing, we will have that capability somehow, some way within our architecture. How that will look and feel, it'll be in one place, but the look and feel of that, we haven't built any of that yet.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Kelly, have y'all thought about the interface and how you're going to connect with our agency management systems? There's a real-time function. If you haven't thought about it, you might want to think about it.
That has been in our discussions and part of our requirements for the vendors that we are looking at.
I brought this up in the AAC meeting the other day, and that very same thing came up in terms of connectivity with the agency management systems. We've made a lot of progress on the strategic partnership side in the PL space with regard to download and enhancing that relationship with agency management systems on that side. It's only helping us bring some of that information over onto the CL world, even though the CL product is very different than the PL product and more complex. We're still learning some things. In fact, we've already made some improvements as a result of those improvements that we did on the PL side. So that, yes, that is coming, and that is, we are taking all of that into account for sure.
Maybe I'll just offer one other general point, which is that these questions you're asking are spot on. And it's part of the reason why we're sharing this with you. And I think the message that Rick and Kelly are trying to communicate is what the work they've done to this point is establish a really clear set of broad needs. And I think everyone that you've mentioned in some form or fashion has been captured in their strategy and the work that they've done so that we can select and architect the right vendor, because we're not building everything by ourselves. We're going to build some things on our own, but we're going to leverage the value of some strong MGA system partners out there. And the things that you're bringing up are all going to be priorities that we're going to have to build in and invest in over time. And we want your input as we make those decisions. These are big investments that are going to take lots of money and over time. So that's, so some of the answers that we have may sound like, yes, we've thought about that and we have that in our mind's eye. What we haven't done is said next quarter, we're going to build that. That's the distinction. So if it feels like some of these questions are not answered with as much specificity, please take that as that's because we're bringing you in and helping you help us shape the journey a little bit. Okay, that's really important. I want to make sure that, because they've done a lot of really deep work to make sure that the pieces that they're bringing in are going to satisfy all of these things over time.
Someone has to have another question.
Kelly does have a dance that you can ask her
No, I'm
to
not.
do if you.
Oh, I thought Rick was
There's still a lot of time left, and
No, I'm not doing a dance. No, I'm not going to do a dance.
Kelsey said I'm either she or I are going to have to do something
We'll
up
do
there.
something.
I don't know.
I mean, go ahead.
I know you're thinking of where the Build Act is going to go, what's going to happen by the end of the year, by next year. Do you have anyone looking at what are we doing now to help us when we go onto your website to kind of guide us a little bit better? Do we find this on JM Partners? Do we find it on Agent Helping Agents? Where are things? From my perspective, it's difficult for me when a customer calls for me to be able to give them accurate information, and then I have to call half the time your customer service department, wait on hold for I don't know how long, to find out what somebody's billing plan is. There should be a little bit of a guide maybe, or an easier way for us to gather this information that is readily available right now.
And I think that'd be really helpful. It's a really good call out that if you can, even just send me an email or Rick an email of the things that you're trying to at least guide, because there's a ton of stuff out there, right? And many different systems. And we're going to be, we're going to invest in cleaning that up. But it'd be helpful for you, for you to give us a list and say, here are the things that I'm struggling with. I know, Regina, you had that question too. Where do I find some of the webinars or the videos that I just want to kind of plug and play and give to my customers as, different tips and tricks? If you can send that, we can definitely try to work with on creating some level of guide of where do you go for different things in different systems today. That's a really good call out.
Yeah, and it would even be really interesting if we could just sit down and like walk you through it, right? And see
Yeah.
what you're doing and what you're trying to get to. And that would help us as we're designing out the new system to make sure that things are easy for you to work with.
Yeah, that would be actually, that's a really good idea.
Kelly, can you explain a little bit deeper on how you came up with the 37,000 suspects? Like, what was the criteria that kind of got you to hone in on that number?
So we use SIC codes and NIC codes along with a lot of really cool tools like Web Scraper and Gem Digger and all these like really funky technology tools that really surf the web and really understand that's how we're getting our customer reach, along with reputable sources like Experian, Google, that give us the ability to see what businesses are in force today, what businesses are out there. And then we do additional scrubbing. We look at, you know, are they a retail jeweler? Are they a manufacturer? Do they have the name jewelry in, but they're really not a jeweler at all? So we've done a lot of analysis on that. I won't say it's perfect yet today, but we're definitely making really good progress in that space. I've personally done a 1,000 case study looking at jewelers across the United States. Oh, and I should have said too, by the way, that 37,000 is not including Canada, and it's not including pawnbrokers. We have a separate research that we're doing and understanding that universe entirely. It's a different universe in that aspect. That could include, and that's one thing that's why I call them suspects, because we don't know all those data attributes yet today. We don't understand, you know, we're looking at other third-party data sources to bring clarity to that, because just looking at a NIC code or SIC code, it does not get to that level. And we want to be with certainty. Is it part of a strip mall? Is it you know, a multi-tenant capability? Is, you know, we want to know more information about that prospect, and that's what we're trying to hone in on. So we'll work through that and then we'll refine it. Yes, Regina.
Agents here, how many are using Zing? Who uses Zing as an agent in this room? For anything. I mean, I'm not on it, and you know, I realize I need to be on it, but I want to see who's on it and what it's doing. So you're using it now, right? I mean, how many people are using it?
Paul, you have quite a few over here.
Right. Okay. So that may be something, you know, I'm saying to myself, I got to get with Emily. I got to get on Zing. There's got to be things that have to be done, but maybe more of us have to get on Zing too. And that will sort of help all of us help our clients or whatever. I don't know. What are you doing on Zing?
So shipping, doing shipping and
Trade secrets.
You should use the microphone.
what we're going to start appraisal programs. I'm trying to get people to do care. We're about to start going onto the personal lines, doing that. That'll come on Zing. So we're going to produce. Yes. And I'll bring an iPad with me and I will show them the appraisal program. Yeah.
And there's a lot of great self-help on Zing too. So I encourage, if you have not set up time or familiar with that platform, there's great opportunity. That's another way for you to do that upsell, cross-sell of different programs and solutions for your jeweler, especially like you said, if you have an iPad of some sort, some way you can visually showcase that to your customer, that would really probably engage them and make it real simple for them to sign up on shipping. Teresa?
How Bill does it? If he takes his laptop out to go see the customer, prospect, whatever, and he goes into his Zing and he wants to show him the appraisal liability, is it a demo? Is there a demo there?
There are demos, I believe. Mike, you guys have demos like all recorded, correct, on the bottom? Yep. There's demonstrations for really your customers to watch, but if you want to, you know, walk through that with them during that process, those are really easily one click and you have a video that walks through it for you.
Maybe one thing I'll just offer too is great question and dialogue, Regina. Appreciate you kicking that off. As we think about the customer experience and us interfacing with the jeweler customer experience, realize a lot of that is going to have a similar look and feel and be part of the Zing world in all likelihood. We haven't mapped all those things out, but familiarity and becoming, utilizing Zing, but also understanding you can help us build the right experience for you and your clients through understanding that platform. A lot of the things that we're talking about in the GA technology initially are going to feel like things that are going to interface and do a great job of helping the insurance and risk transactions that are so fundamental to most of what you're doing every day. But the secret sauce, if you will, of the customer experience, I think will be much more like the Zing. It'll be tied into making sure that it connects with the GA technology through the Zing platform. So that's part of our mission and kind of how we see it coming together. So familiarity on your end with Zing is going to be critical.
Jamie, let me add too. This afternoon, I mentioned the kiosk that we're going to have set up. So it's going to be like a trade show, okay? To where we're going to have different departments, one being Zing, all the jeweler programs, all the things that you're talking about, whether it be appraisal solution, care plan, all that stuff. We can help you this afternoon show, okay, this is how you can display this, or this is how you can present this to your client, okay? So we can clear up a lot of that this afternoon.
On that question, how many of your 11,000 customers are on Zing? How many use it?
About 6,500, I think, roughly 6,000 customers on Zing. I don't know if it's the same subset of the 11,000, but I think it's like 80%.
So we measure it in different ways. Mike will probably have the overarching number, but so you're on Zing, but there's also multiple things on Zing, right? Appraisal solution, care plan, shipping solution. So again, when we look at that value of that customer across all of them, yes, we understand they're part of Zing. That's a level of engagement, but then even further, they're a part of shipping solution. They're a part of care plan. That's another level of engagement. And then, well, how much are they actually doing within those, verticals of products and services? We want to look at that and really understand and create a value for that customer. So when you work with your ASM today, like I said, I can't, just give you a tool right this second to provide all of your book of business, but they can help you understand all of those engagements across all of those platforms. That make sense?
And think of the tech stack of Zing. We talk about this internally all the time. Zing is a technology platform, okay? And then there's the Zing marketplace that we continue to build out. And that Zing marketplace consists of all those different products and services that are available. So, even me, when I was at Centurion a few weeks ago, I was talking to a jeweler and I said, "Do you use Zing?" And they said, "Yes, I love Zing." And I said, "Well, what does Zing mean to you?" And she said, "Well, it's shipping solution, isn't it?" And that was the only feature she knew of in her head. That's what registered for her. Zing meant shipping solution. It did not mean really a portfolio of services available through JM. So this is a process. This is a journey for them to get familiar and get comfortable with what that means. And that's why this session right here is great. We got work to do because we got to clean you guys up, make sure that you're comfortable with presenting what Zing means and to your clients based on what their interests are.
I have a question for anyone that's brave enough to maybe speak up, but what we've shared today, who could utilize this, like walking out of this room? The information, working with your ASM, working with someone in JM Group to understand your customer better, expand reaches. Okay. Mike, you want to maybe share how you might apply it? Or Mike, hey, you guys fight over it. I didn't realize that they're both, yeah.
Just getting engaged with the ASMs and the piloting of the programs will help, I think. The initial feedback.
And also, let me mention this. I know Krista and I were talking back there, just for the Wexler folks in here, you're probably thinking ASM. We're mentioning that quite a bit. ASM and PSM. So an agency sale, ASM is an agency sales managers. Before the acquisition, most of the all the independents that are in here, including JMIS, had an agency sales manager that they work with today. When we made the transition with the Wexler Group, now, Krista has been managing that group, bringing that together and figuring out what's the best resource to be able to offer you guys going forward. So she's in the process of that. Krista, is that an accurate statement? Yeah, so that you can, so this reference towards ASM, it's like if you're like, who is my ASM? What is that? What is that? PSM, by the way, is program sales managers, which we have, of course, in the room. And you'll see if you haven't met some of those this afternoon, you will. But those are the folks that really are dedicated and committed to all the programs and services that we offer. Okay, so all the portfolio. the many things that we do, right?
And one thing we can also do too, and again, this is a little bit more manual, but we can look at, your book of business and define, okay, who are all my customers that are not in shipping solution today that I really want to go make a connection with? Whatever product or service that you're comfortable with, you can start with that. And that's a great opportunity for you to utilize some of the insights that we're already building today. Yes.
So it's hard to keep in your head all the customers that would help us.
Definitely. And so for day one today, we can share that with you, through a conversation or an email, setting up time on an individual account, or we can look at your book of business. In the future, when we're talking about the technology capabilities, we want you to have that at your fingertips to be able to see all of that. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. You guys are a direct extension of us, and that's you're so right with that. Kelly mentioned earlier on that case that we were researching or helping one of you work out, it was going to take her a few hours to pull data together. So we're trying to do that internally now, get that structure right so that we can help you guys. But then the goal would be to put it out there and for you to use, because it's just like a CRM in your agency. When you pull up a Mark Devereaux, you want to see what insurance policies you have for Mark Devereaux, right? But it's the same thing applies here. We're talking about the JM portfolio. You should be able to pull up everything that's available to you with Jewelers Mutual, whether it be care plan, whether it be a commercial policy or personal policy or what have you. And one second.
I was just going to address that. One of the things, so we use Applied Systems as our agency management system in Epic. So one of the things that I did for our agency is we put in an inland marine code, and then we penned it out for 30 years, right? Because nobody needs to really follow up on it. And then in the notes section of that, we just put shipping and list all the things there so that when we pull a client up, we can easily see that on our side.
I think we're like the live, someone mentioned like real time too, really understanding that the depth of their engagement. That's something that, while you have that's really good that you can at least reference it. You could then call your ASM and say, hey, how are they doing in shipping, right? What have they done in the last year? Do I need to increase their engagement? Because you'll see a lot of people are yes, they're enrolled, but they're maybe not fully engaged. And that's a great opportunity for you to increase your sales and those connections with your customers.
Exactly. And didn't somebody bring up yesterday that when you actually talk to these people about the personal jewelry, you see a spike all of a sudden, if you don't remind them to do it, or, what happened that you're not, selling it anymore, if you don't engage them, if you don't know what they have and you don't know how often they're using it. By having those tools, we can just concentrate on the conversation that needs to be happening and not talk about things that are working well and they're doing okay with, whatever. Time is limited and there's a lot to talk about.
Any other comments, questions? Wendy.
Yeah, Wendy.
For the people on the phone, it'd be nice though. We do have a crowd on the phone, so we want to be respectful of that.
Me and a microphone, this could be dangerous. So having used it and having been an agent, I just want to share like the quality of your conversation when you have a customer on the phone is like 2022. We haven't really had that. So in one quick glance, you can say, oh, I see you enrolled in shipping back in 2019, but I haven't seen you use it. Tell me more about why you're not using it. How can I help you become more engaged? Or you're really using Link. How's that going? What are you using the payments for? All in one screen. So it's not like you're digging into the 20 systems that we have. We know that that's a little cumbersome. It's cumbersome for us inside, but now it will be at your fingertips. Right now, you don't have access to it. I know that that's what we've explained, but when you're able to have that phone conversation with all that information, you don't have to write it down, find it. It becomes a much more quality conversation. and then you're able to sell more. So it's really nice. We're
Even
getting
with
there.
that though, like if they're doing awesome on Link, find out what makes them be so awesome. So then you can use it as a story for others to really engage them. And I know you've been storytelling.
Kelly, just a quick add too, from the claims side, it's critical for us to have as much information as we can get so that we can more quickly establish rapport and begin the claim handling process. So the claim professionals here had requested from me that I kind of reach out to all of you and say, hey, please give us as much details as you can about the loss, about the individuals, who to contact, any kind of nicknames, anything we should know about the account. So claims will also be starting to leverage this information, but again, tied to that is the more detail you can provide about an account at the time of the claim, it's extremely beneficial for the claim examiners to, again, get the claim process off on the right foot. So just a request to kind of tie to this as well.
And since Don spoke, I have to make a comment. Nice hair, but not only that, he got picked on yesterday. It was his birthday.
Kelly, I'm sorry, Kelly, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
With the list that you developed, which by the way, I'm lucky enough to be participating a little bit on the pilot side of that. And it's a great looking list, by the way. When you get a chance to look at it, it's a tremendous amount of information. I think you'll find it valuable. I think we're going to. We got an early start because we had Jewelers Mutual develop a little marketing piece for us, which we're testing out on this group. But my question was going to be, some of us have been using JBT mobile app. And the benefit of that is whenever you're driving around, you just look at who's around you and it pulls up all the local, as far as within, I don't know, 10 or 15 miles. I was wondering, as you're looking for vendors, I think y'all had talked about that you might participate with. And I know y'all are very involved with JBT already. I wonder if there's any way you could load this list that you create through their technology, because driving around and the ability to look up everyone you need to see around where you're at really helps to leverage your time when you're in the field.
That's a really great ad. I know that was part of our visioning a year and a half ago. We've thought about that. That's definitely something that I can take back and see what tools internally we have or for the future build. I love that idea. It's more real time. It's in the moment, right? It's actually one of my use cases. I actually kind of describe that same scenario you just mentioned. So thank you, Stark, for that. I don't have an answer today, but I'll take it away and do something with it. As I was mentioning really quick about Don, it wasn't just about your hair, was the collaboration that we're doing internally really challenge us, help engage with us. If there's a tough account, if there's something that you really need us to, really help support you on, we will roundtable internally and make sure that, we take that seriously and help you really demonstrate that value added to your customer. So we're here to help and serve you in any way we can. Anything else?
Question in the back.
I'm saying that a lot, sorry.
Just following up on Stark's question, will the clearance tool be available mobily?
It is actually. So Power BI, I don't know if you're familiar with it, it's a Microsoft tool. I can pull it up on my phone. It's an app. So you can, it's tiny. If you got to have your reader glasses on, or if you have an iPad, it's definitely a lot easier. But you can, in a pinch, you can search and see if something's protected or not. So it is mobile capability.
Kelly, will we be able to show that this afternoon in the breakout? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and I can just create an ad hoc booth if you need to. I've actually met with a couple people already and kind of walked through securely, showing us some examples of their own accounts. I may shift my computer a little bit here and there to protect others in the room, but I can pull up an account that's really special to you, or your ASM can do that as well. But I'm happy to walk through that with you.
Good.
Okay, how are we doing on time? Doing pretty good, right? We get the award for finishing early. Well, thank you all so much. I know your head's probably spinning. We're available. We can set up Teams meetings when we get back, or just a phone call, or we can meet here. Definitely, this is a journey. We're in it together, and we can help you in any way we can. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.